Tuesday. Welcome to the show. Welcome to today's live level up conversation. Whether you're tuning in live or you're catching me on replay, it's great to have you here. First day of the week in terms of our show here. Let's go ahead and get started.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market updates. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends. It's great to see all of you here today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, and welcome to the show. I'm Winnie Sun, your host, an award winning financial pro, a Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member. And yes, we are absolutely live here on like many social media platforms here. So jump in, take a moment to say hello, introduce yourself. Let me know how your week's been going so far. I know it's still early in the week, but it's never too early to celebrate time together. So thanks so much for making the time. Let's start and tell you how the market is. As you know, it hasn't closed yet, but currently the Dow's up 68 points. NASDAQ is down 122 points, and the S&P 500 is also down 18 currently. So we know that the S&P did see a decline earlier of today, primarily because of some of the surging oil prices of 2023. This is, of course, sparking some concerns about a global economic shutdown. If it sounds like repeat, yes, it is repeat. We seem to be hearing that quite often. Also, on the side of the NASDAQ, also experienced some setback, obviously falling quite a bit compared to the Dow, partly because also of concerns with oil there as well. And also, a lot of the technology companies are facing a pretty significant drop. In fact, Oracle's really having a challenging day. They're actually the worst performing of the S&P 500 currently, and we're also hearing some difficulty coming out of the cloud computing sector and other major players. Many of the names you're familiar with, like Amazon, Alphabet, which is Google's parent company, Microsoft, all really seeing some difficulty today as well. And as we go into the big announcement that's expected coming from Apple, we're also seeing Apple get impacted today negatively as well. So a lot of investors are really looking very closely to inflation data. And of course, we're going to see whether or not the data that's being released later this week is going to show the consumer price index Wednesday or Thursday. And of course, the producer index is supposed to come out Thursday. But the European Central Bank is also holding its policy meeting. So we're hoping that inflation kind of quiets down a little bit. I think investors are looking for some positivity there, hoping that interest rates won't go up once again, maybe next month. We don't know about this month. It doesn't look like they'll probably increase interest rates this month, but maybe next month. We don't know yet. Now, speaking of all things business finance, I wanted to kind of cover a few stories in the tech space. And some of these I think are going to be find quite fascinating. And of course, we're going to end with a fun story. And we're going to check back on the market before we close today as well. But let's talk about something that's coming to social media. And you might already be experiencing this, and you might even be one of these few lucky folks on TikTok that has this capability already. If you haven't paid attention to this yet, do know that TikTok has now a whole new shopping experience. They've officially launched their e-commerce platform called TikTok Shop here in the United States, which as you know, TikTok has over 150 million users already. Well, one thing that they're going to do now is let you do shopping, and if you're a creator, do some selling. This has included a dedicated shop tab at the home screen when you jump on TikTok Shop. And this allows for live video shopping, kind of like if you've seen Amazon Live, you've seen that as well. You can now do shoppable ads, and they have a pretty robust affiliate program for content creators. So as you know, many of the younger generation has jumped and embraced TikTok. They've been testing this new e-commerce platform in the United States since November, and they've been gradually adding more vendors to test out and experiment shopping demands and interests in different formats across multiple global markets. But now the US is definitely here, and the platform is allowing creators to tag products in videos and make it even easier for you to be part from your money and for users to make purchases. So multiple brands have jumped on this, and it allows you to create a product portfolio that's accessible from your profile pages. So if you have a really popular TikTok profile, you have a lot of followers, and you do a lot of really fun content, now you can do product placement, right? And make some money, additional layer of money off your creative efforts. And let's be honest, if you've ever created creative content, you've written articles or created videos and just, even posts, this takes a lot of time. And so a lot of now creators, this is their side hustle. They're making money off their creative efforts. So TikTok Shop now has a dedicated tab allowing you to do this. As you know, TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, has been under a lot of scrutiny in terms of the security and different things like that. But it looks like they're here to stay. And in fact, TikTok has partnered with Shopify and integrates a lot of their e-commerce tools and things like that into their shopping platform, I would say. And the platform now already boasts over 200,000 sellers are already on the TikTok Shop platform, and over 100,000 creators have also signed up for their affiliate programming. So yeah, it's a big deal. In fact, they're using this new hashtag called TikTok made me buy it, which is, they want to use this to kind of help compete against like Amazon, Amazon Live, Shine, and a whole bunch of other platforms where you can buy it. I think this is what you're seeing, a lot of this sort of like new way of selling things, just a lot like we used to have commercials and things like that on regular television. So nothing, the idea isn't new, but the platforms are new, which makes it kind of fun. So definitely something to continue to watch. And on that note, let's go ahead and segue to another big technology name that you're familiar with. And this is Google. Now, I wish Google was coming up with their own like fun news, shopping, whatever, making money. But unfortunately, not so much. Google is now under antitrust scrutiny. There's an antitrust trial which is underway where the federal government and many states, in fact, are saying that Google really has internet search monopoly. And I think for those of you who are watching the show, you probably like, that actually sounds reasonable. When you're looking to make a search on the internet, where do you go to? You probably say, let's Google that, right? And you probably, like, I do this with my kids all the time. They'll have a question like, why don't you Google it and check it out? It's sort of been very much part of search. In fact, this is a critical aspect of why this case has come to be. They say that Google possesses a monopoly over internet search and that the focus is now on the potential misuse of market power. And a lot of talk about AI and about what's trustworthy and what's not trustworthy. And Google's dominance in the global search engine market now accounts for 91%, is a big focal point in this particular case. Now, they're saying that part of the reason why all of us Google in terms of our search is because they made these really smart deals with phone makers such as Apple and Samsung, as well as internet browser partnerships with Mozilla, which makes Google the default search engine for their users. And so the US Justice Department isn't so keen on this. They're saying that this, you know, this contributes to just self-reinforcing cycle that solidifies Google's control. And they're saying that, there needs to be competitors because like Yahoo, MSN, they really can't compete because Google has these partnerships with all these big brands and tools that we use on a day-to-day basis, right? Your iPhone or your Android or your iPad or your Chromebook, like because of this all this access, well, makes it harder for us to even look and use a different search engine. Now, in Google's defense, they're saying, well, that's not true. They're saying it's really easy for users to change their search options. They can easily switch to a different default search engine. And they're saying that, it's just not fair to limit their power of search. So this trial is going to take place in federal court here in Washington, and it's really going to be, we're going to see how this unfolds. But they're saying that this is really going to make a clear message of just how much power technology companies have here in the United States, namely those tech giants. So this trial is expected to take about 10 weeks, and then they're saying a final ruling will probably occur later, or even the following year. This is going to take some time. But they said this is quite significant, and in fact, it's hasn't been this significant an antitrust trial since Microsoft's case in 2001, which they say ultimately actually enabled companies like Google to really thrive in the modern internet era. So yeah, much to see. And we'll definitely be following that. And we'll see how that unfolds. Because I think it will give us an indication of where the future is headed for big tech, as well as new technology, and of course, dominance, and of course, sharing of information, reliable information, and how are they going to monitor that the information that comes out is obviously credible and dependable. So, speaking of things that are credible, dependable, we're going to move over to our next story. And this is on the topic of a safer future of AI. Now, I know you've probably dabbled in AI. Perhaps your daily life means that you use some AI in your work life, perhaps. And I see Vicky joining us on Facebook Live. It's great to see you. I see many friends joining us all the different platforms. Jump in and let me know. Have you tried AI? Have you used this technology? I'm going to guess that even if you don't think you actually have, because much of the technology that we're using today has already incorporated some aspects of AI, and it's just getting even more robust. It could be even as simple as like going to a chat feature on a website, or uh, writing or conducting an interview, or writing an email and having words being suggested to you. That's all AI. Well, 8 major tech companies, including Adobe, IBM, and NVIDIA, Salesforce, and many others, now are saying that they are committed to increase testing, reporting, and research on the risks associated with artificial intelligence, or AI, now that they followed and had some meetings at the US White House. Now, these voluntary commitments are going to serve as a bridge to potential actions regarding AI risk. And the US Congress obviously is very concerned about the future risks of artificial intelligence. In fact, so through this sort of voluntary commitment, many of these tech companies say that we understand that there are risks. We understand that obviously we want to make sure to do this mindfully, thoughtfully, in a way that prevents bad things from happening to us in the future. So they have decided to sign and really want to be a part of this revolution, but also making sure that protections are in place. So the White House is working on an executive order and, of course, formal policies that will help govern the development and procurement and use of AI technologies and systems within federal government agencies. So remember, if you probably remember, 7 tech companies are already part of this, like Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, OpenAI, saying that yes, they are okay and they understand that there needs to be some guidelines in order for the development of AI. So I think that's good. Hopefully that's enough, and we can trust the new technology, because I think much needs to be done. But I think the collaboration, partnership, and communication with these leaders in at these technology giants is really going to help. Because let's be honest, I don't think that it's fair to think that the U.S. Congress would know everything that's happening with AI and technology, and be able to determine those parameters. So having that open dialogue is really great. Yes. Jackie Garrido, it's wonderful to see you on LinkedIn Live. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to have you here. Yes, AI is absolutely everywhere. And I see Joshua, CrossX Fighter, joining us on YouTube Live. Thank you so much for tuning in as well. Now, the next story, I think, is kind of more of a fun story, but it still does give you something to think about. And this is the future of fast food. Now, Many of you know we've been talking about technology, we've been talking about the entertainment space, we talk about financial space as well, and what's developing in terms of business, in terms of technology, and of course, the future of work, what that's going to look like as well. But all of these changes are also taking place in the world of fast food. In fact, this is a great story that's coming out of McDonald's. McDonald's is saying that they are going to be phasing out of their self service soda machines in their US restaurants by 2032. Now, that's still quite a ways away, but it's interesting to see what they're looking at and where their goal is going towards. They're saying they want to provide a consistent experience for both customers and, of course, their crew and their team members at their various different restaurants. Now, as you know, traditionally McDonald's does allow you to walk in, you can make your own soda combination, you get your cup right, you go and put your ice, you get your soda, and you put your straw, and you're like, oh, way to go. And then you can come back and do refills and whatnot. But they're saying, but you know, that's not as pop, or maybe it's still popular, but maybe popular for the wrong reasons. But because of changing consumer behavior during the pandemic and beyond, they're not really focused on making the drive-through and delivery services their key focuses. And they've actually reduced the need for these soda machines. So these soda machines are on their way out. The company says they're adapting to this shift by designing restaurants with much smaller footprints. And some of them actually might not even have dining rooms anymore, but they're going to really emphasize high tech drive throughs. I would say that this is probably a very smart business decision from their standpoint, right? From McDonald's standpoint, because as we know, for most businesses, and especially in hospitality and the restaurant and food industry, one of the biggest costs that businesses have is the cost of labor. And if you have smaller dining rooms, that means less people have to manage those dining rooms. If everything's done through drive-throughs, it's also, you probably have to have less people running these drive-through locations. And we know that a lot of technology and AI is coming to the creation and creating and preparing food, right? So you can have less people and probably a lot less risks and maybe healthcare costs and things like that. So they're really emphasizing high tech drive throughs right now, digital sales, including orders being made through apps and partners like Uber, which now account for about 40% of McDonald's total sales. That's crazy, right? Because so many times, I mean, McDonald's has had drive throughs for decades, but so much so that even for McDonald's, people are using apps. They're using drive-throughs and they just don't even find a need to go into the store. 40%, that's huge. And the number is probably going to just get much, much larger. In fact, McDonald's is now exploring the concept of what they call Cosmics, which is their new tiny locations with smaller, if not no dining areas as well, which really reflects sort of the landscape of the future consumer. I would say it seems like, young people today, why get out of your car? Just stay in your car, get your food, and be on your way. This is nothing new. We've seen this with companies such as Chipotle, Taco Bell, Starbucks, and many, many other companies. In fact, I've even seen that, like Walmart, for example, for their curbside pickup, there's like so many lanes. I would say the last time I went to do this was like 12 different lanes and always busy. So it's almost like this is the future. People want convenience. They don't feel like they need to browse aisles. Don't need to go in there. And let me just tell you, when I was a kid and we went McDonald's or Burger King, I can remember so many times, almost like 40% of the time, the change that we would get after our order was made, like you would give cash, right? Or coins with your order, like 40% of the time it was wrong. Either they gave us too little or they gave us too much. It was never perfect. So I imagine, that translates to quite a bit in terms of business expenses for these companies as well. So yeah, the future of fast food. That's what we're going to end the story on today. Of course, we'll have more to share with you tomorrow, but let's go ahead and check in and let you know how the market is doing currently. The Dow is currently up just barely at positive 49. The Nasdaq still continues to be down over 100 points at 112 currently, and the S&P 500 is also down 16 as well. Don't know how the market's going to end. We still have got a little bit more than an hour yet for today, but we'll see. I would just say it's just another day. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. I want to say a great, huge thank you to all of you for tuning in, of course, sharing and contributing to today's show with your comments. Truly, truly grateful. Yes, Vicky is saying, sounds like mini McDonald's. It does sound like mini McDonald's. I'm not sure why they call it Cosmic. I think they can rethink of that name. I think Jackie would probably be able to come up with a really great name for that. But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and being a part of Level Up today for Level Up Live. And of course, if you want to find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun, you can tune in to NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG, Roku, and many other streaming platforms. And of course, if you share this show on social, make sure to tag at Winnie Sun so I can properly thank you. Just like I want to thank Vicky, I want to thank Joshua, and thank so many of you for tuning in and sharing the show with those that you care about. And of course, if you want to do an even deeper dive in some insightful content, make sure to check out Yes Factor with Winnie Sun, also on Apple Podcasts and the LinkedIn Podcast Network. With that, thank you so much, my friends, for being here and tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Take care now. Bye bye.